Somewhere inside one of the most powerful tech companies on Earth, someone approved a Windows update with missing files, hit send to 1 billion devices, and then watched it fail in real time. And instead of firing anyone, they handed the AI a $25 billion raise. Let that sink in for a second. One button, one broken update, 1 billion devices, and the person responsible didn't lose their job, didn't lose a bonus, didn't even lose their parking spot. In fact, the only thing that changed was a number, and that number went up. $25 billion up. Because at Microsoft, failure isn't a consequence. Failure is apparently a funding round. And look, I know what you're thinking. It's just a software update. It's not that deep. But I'm going to spend the next few minutes proving to you that this is so much deeper than a broken update. This is about power, about money, about a company so enormous it literally cannot be held accountable by anyone on Earth. This is about a $2.7 trillion machine that runs the world and still can't count its own files. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at that little Windows Update notification on your screen very, very differently. So let's start at the beginning, because to understand just how crazy this situation is, you need to understand exactly how big Microsoft actually is. $2.7 trillion, not billion, trillion. Write it out. That's $2,700 billion. That is more money than the entire GDP of France, more than the entire economy of the United Kingdom, more than every single dollar generated by every business, every worker, every farmer, every factory in Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands combined. Microsoft, as a single company, is worth more than most of the top 20 economies on Earth. And this matters because we're not talking about a scrappy startup trying to figure things out. We're not talking about some small team in a garage that forgot to attach a file. We're talking about the most resourced technology organization in human history, shipping an update with files missing. Not a virus, not a hack. Files missing. From their own update that they built, that they tested, that they approved, that they shipped. How does that happen? How does a company with hundreds of thousands of employees, with entire departments dedicated to quality assurance, with testing infrastructure that costs more per year than most countries spend on their entire education budgets, how does that company ship an update where the files just aren't there? It would be funny if it wasn't so catastrophic for so many people. And here's where it gets genuinely dark, because most people don't realize how many critical systems in the world run on Windows. We're not just talking about your laptop at home. We're talking about hospitals, governments, military infrastructure, banking systems, air traffic control towers, power grids. According to data from StatDesks, Windows runs on approximately 85% of all desktop computers worldwide. 85%. That means almost 9 out of every 10 computers on the planet are running an operating system that just admitted it can't ship a working update. Think about what that means geopolitically for one moment. When Windows breaks, it doesn't just break your calculator. When Windows breaks, pharmacies can't process prescriptions. When Windows breaks, government workers across dozens of countries lose access to their systems. When Windows breaks, defense, contractors, intelligence agencies, and military logistics operations, many of which run on Windows infrastructure, hit a wall. This is not a trivial consumer software issue. This is a global infrastructure dependency that the world has never fully reckoned with. And we got a preview of exactly what that looks like back in 2017 with WannaCry. Now, if you weren't around for that or you've forgotten, WannaCry was a ransomware attack, a piece of malicious code that exploited a vulnerability in unpatched Windows systems. It spread across 150 countries in a single day. A single day. It shut down the UK's National Health Service. Patients were turned away from hospitals. Operations were cancelled. Ambulances were rerouted. The Spanish telecom giant Telefonica went down. FedEx went down. Deutsche Bahn, Germany's entire national railway, had its display boards infected. Factories in China stopped production. All because Windows had a vulnerability that users hadn't patched. And why hadn't they patched? Because they didn't trust the patches. Because every time they'd updated in the past, something else broke. You see the cycle here? You see how this snake eats itself? People stop updating because updates break things. Then when they don't update, they get attacked. Then Microsoft tells them to update. They update, and it breaks things again. Rinse, repeat, global catastrophe. This is the world we live in. This is the operating system running civilization. And we just found out it shipped with missing files. But let's get back to this specific update situation. Because the chain of broken things that led here deserves its own moment. Because it wasn't one update that started the distrust. It was a whole string of them. There was the update that broke access to the C drive, the most fundamental location on a Windows machine, the place where the operating system itself lives. An update reached into your computer and made it so. You couldn't properly access the drive your computer runs on. That's not a bug. That's an almost philosophical crisis for a software company. And then there was the update that broke the calculator. The calculator, a piece of software that has existed on Windows since 1990, one of the most basic, most used, most simple applications on any computer, and a Windows update managed to make it stop working. And then there was the update that froze Outlook, Microsoft's own email client, the one used by hundreds of millions of professionals, the one that businesses pay enormous subscription fees for. That update made it freeze. So at one point, a Windows update made it. So you couldn't access your files, you couldn't do basic math, and you couldn't message anyone about it either. You were just stuck, sitting at the most expensive paperweight you'd ever bought. And so when this latest update came out with missing files, nobody was shocked. Everybody was just tired. And now comes the part of the story I really need you to feel in your chest, because this is where the real money is. This is where the real decisions get made. While all of this is happening, while updates are breaking calculators and corrupting file systems and making Outlook freeze, Microsoft is simultaneously investing $13 billion into OpenAI. $13 billion. They're pouring money into AI with both hands. Copilot is now baked into Windows. Copilot is in Word, in Excel, in Teams, and everything. And when the update fails, when the files are missing, who do you think approves the next move? It's not a programmer who stays late and fixes the bug. It's not a quality assurance team that catches the error before it ships. It's an AI, a Copilot, a system that, and I say this without exaggeration, when confronted about a broken update, would likely respond with something like, "Great catch, thanks for that feedback. You're very observant and clearly a fantastic person." And then nothing changes. And you know what? That's exactly what happens. Nothing changes, the update gets pulled, a statement gets released, a vague promise is made, and then a few weeks later, another update, another problem, another cycle. Because here's the secret that Microsoft would never put in a press release. Fixing Windows, truly fixing it from the foundation up, would require rebuilding enormous parts of it from scratch. And that's not a weekend project. Windows as an operating system carries decades of legs. AC code written in the 80s and 90s that still quietly runs underneath everything you do. Compatibility, layers that exist because someone somewhere is still running software from 2003 that they absolutely cannot replace. Every update Microsoft ships has to interact with that legacy, has to not break 10,000 edge cases, has to work on machines ranging from brand new gaming rigs to decade-old Office. Computers in a government building in rural Portugal that hasn't been upgraded since the Obama administration. That's the impossible task they've set for themselves, and they're trying to do it while also racing to integrate AI into everything. Because the stock market demands innovation. Because investors want to see Copilot in every corner of Windows. Because the AI arms race doesn't stop for anyone, not even for quality control. And speaking of the stock market, here's a fact that doesn't get talked about enough. When Microsoft pulled this broken update, their stock barely moved. A fraction of a percent, a rounding error. Because Wall Street doesn't care about your C drive. Wall Street doesn't care about missing files or a frozen Outlook. Wall Street cares about AI. Wall Street cares about cloud revenue. Wall Street cares about Azure, which grew over 30% year over year and now brings in over $35 billion a quarter. That's what moves the needle. And so internally, where do you think the energy goes? Where do you think the best engineers get assigned? Where does the excitement live? It lives in AI. It lives in cloud. It lives in the future. And Windows is the past. Windows is the legacy. Windows is the thing they have to maintain because 1.5 billion people depend on it. But it's not where the glory is. It's not where the promotions are. And that's why updates keep shipping broken, because the people who could fix them are busy building something else, something that gets them on stage at a product launch, something that makes the stock go up, not something that makes sure your computer turns on in the morning. Now let's talk about Windows Search for a minute, because this is where Microsoft's identity crisis becomes impossible to ignore. Windows Search should be simple. You press the Windows key, you type what you want, it finds it, done. That's all it needs to do. That's all anyone has ever asked it to do. But somewhere along the way, someone at Microsoft decided that wasn't enough. Someone decided that the search bar, the thing you use to find your files, should also show you news headlines and trending topics and things other people have searched and game recommendations and AI-generated suggestions and recipes, actual recipes, as if you opened your laptop to look up a spreadsheet and what you really wanted was a suggestion for tonight's dinner. As if your computer and your refrigerator have somehow merged into one confused device that doesn't know whether to boot up or chill your leftovers. And this is not a small thing. This is a symptom of a massive global tech industry problem where companies have convinced themselves that more is always better. That if a feature exists, it should be in your face. That your attention, your eyeballs, your mental bandwidth, those are resources to be monetized, even inside your own operating system, even when you're just trying to find a folder. The search bar became an advertising delivery mechanism wearing the costume of a search bar, and users noticed. Users have been complaining about it for years. Tech forums are filled with threads about how to disable the news, how to remove the widgets, how to make Windows Search actually search your computer and not the entire internet for things you didn't ask about. And so, to their credit, minimal credit, tiny credit, a crumb of credit, Microsoft recently announced they're working on making Windows Search better. A company executive actually stood up and said publicly that search would become simpler and less distracting, that it would prioritize your installed apps and your local folders over Bing results, that it would cut back on the noise. And honestly, that's the right move. That's what it should have been all along. But the fact that this is being announced as a future innovation, ACE, something to be celebrated and marketed, when it's literally just, we'll show you what's on your computer when you search your computer. That tells you everything about how far the bar has dropped. We are celebrating the idea that a search bar might one day search your device. That is where we are. And the most telling part? The executive who made that announcement quietly added that AI features would probably stay. Of course they would. Of course, the one thing users didn't ask for is the one thing that survives the cleanup. Because AI is the strategy. AI is the boardroom priority. AI is the thing that justifies the valuation. And so, while the recipes might go away, Copilot stays. The suggestion engine stays. The AI that confidently gives you wrong answers with perfect grammar stays. Here's something that genuinely doesn't get enough attention when we talk about Microsoft and Windows. The European Union has been watching this company very carefully for a long time. Decades ago, the EU fined Microsoft nearly 500 million euros for antitrust violations around how Windows was bundled with Internet Explorer and Windows Media Player. They've been in and out of regulatory battles with Brussels ever since. And now, with AI being baked directly into Windows at the operating system level, with Copilot embedded so deeply that it's tied to the update and licensing infrastructure, regulators in Europe are paying very close attention again. Because when an AI system is built into the operating system that runs 85% of the world's computers, that's not just a software feature. That's a geopolitical lever. That is a company with the ability to shape how over 1 billion people interact with information, with AI-generated content, with search results, with their own devices. The implications of that are enormous. And they are being discussed right now in rooms in Brussels, in Westminster, and Washington, in ways that will shape technology policy for the next decade. And here's the thing. Here's the part that I think is genuinely fascinating and genuinely terrifying at the same time. Microsoft isn't doing anything illegal. They're not breaking rules. They're operating in a system that was designed before anyone imagined a company could reach this scale, this reach, this level of infrastructure dependency. There's no playbook for what you do when a single company's software runs the hospitals, the schools, the banks, the governments, and the militaries of nearly every country on Earth simultaneously. There is no regulation that fully accounts for the reality that when Microsoft ships a broken update, it is a geopolitical event, not just an inconvenience, an event. And yet, here we are, watching it happen again. And the biggest consequence is a mildly apologetic support page and a pulled update notification. So where does this leave us? Where does this leave you, the person sitting at home with a Windows machine, watching the little update spinner and wondering whether clicking Install Now is a brave act of faith or a dare you're making with your own operating system? Here's what I'll tell you. The updates will keep coming. Some will be fine, some will break something. One of them will probably break something you rely on more than you realized until it was gone. And Microsoft will pull it and fix it and ship another one. Because they have to. Because 1.5 billion people need Windows to work. Because hospitals and governments and banks and militaries need Windows to work. Because for all its problems, for all its broken calculators and missing files and recipe-suggesting search bars, Windows is still the spine of the world's digital infrastructure. And spines don't get replaced. They get adjusted. They get patched. They get updated, even when the updates are broken. But here's the secret nobody at Microsoft will ever say out loud. The fact that you still use Windows isn't loyalty, it's dependency. And dependency and loyalty look the same from the outside but feel very different from the inside. One of them is a choice, the other is a trap. And when you're the operating system that runs everything, the line between the two disappears completely. So next time that update notification pops up, and you hover your mouse over it, and you feel that little flicker of doubt, that little voice that says, maybe I'll do this later, just know that you're not being irrational, you're not being paranoid, you're being logical. You're responding correctly to a decade of evidence that says updating might break something. And you're doing it on a machine that runs software maintained by a because for them, nothing did happen. The valuation is fine. The cloud revenue is fine. The AI roadmap is fine. The only thing that wasn't fine was your computer. And in the calculus of a $2.7 trillion company, your computer is a very, very small number. Now, some people, wise people, honestly, have started saying that Windows not updating is the feature, that the safest version of Windows is the one that never changed. And I get it. I genuinely get it. Because every time they promise the next update will be better, there's another one that proves otherwise. But here's where I land on it. Because I think you deserve a real take, not just a punchline. The problem isn't updates. Updates are necessary. Security patches are not optional in a world where ransomware spreads across 150 countries in 24 hours. The problem is a company so large, so profitable, so deeply embedded in global infrastructure that it has lost the feedback loop that makes software good. When failure doesn't hurt you, you stop being afraid of failure. And when you stop being afraid of failure, you stop doing the work that prevents it. That's not an AI problem. That's not a Windows problem. That's a power problem. And there's only one thing in history that has ever solved a power problem. And it's not a software update. So, are you scared to touch Windows? Because honestly, I get it. They can't seem to get it right. And if they get something wrong, they get $1 trillion. If you get something wrong on your end, you lose your work, your files, your afternoon, maybe your mind. That's the deal we've all signed without reading the terms and conditions, which, fittingly, were also last updated with something important missing. Subscribe, like, and maybe, just maybe, hold off on that update for one more day.